You are looking now at the Queen's casket placed inside the hearse. The journey now begins from Edinburgh, Scotland to London, where the Queen will lie in state. People will have an opportunity to pay their respects. And Amanda, you were telling us there are, what are the estimates? Are we talking millions of people expected to turn out?
Oh, yeah. Well, altogether, yes. I mean, if you include the four kingdoms. London, as we know, is almost already officially full. There's over 1 million people going. They're laying on extra trains. I heard just now that they are taking away all the roadworks that they have been doing in order to ease some of that congestion. Otherwise, literally, there is not enough space on the sidewalks.
You might notice we just saw, I'm sorry, go
Princess
ahead.
Anne, she's going to be traveling with the casket on the plane. Just to sort of let people know. And then once it arrives in London, it is off to Buckingham Palace, where the King and the Queen and
the Prince and Princess of Wales will be there together. And that's very significant for many reasons. The first is it's their final private time with the Queen. They haven't actually had any private time with the Queen's casket, and now they will have that time. She will lie in the bow room of Buckingham Palace overnight. Also attended by various chaplains, including the Bishop of London, who is a woman.
I was reading that last night they held rehearsals for the funeral and for the procession from Buckingham Palace. And there were many people watching the rehearsals because they were sort of in full costume. Basically everything that would have happened except for stand-ins for the royal family, walking behind the hearse. It's quite fascinating.
This eruption of applause. Yeah. Was the Princess Royal, by the way, selected, chosen? Did she say, I want to go with Mom from start to finish? Because she sort of has been the first person behind the casket from really the moment we heard about the death, right?
Yes, and this will have been part of the plan from earlier on. The Queen has always been incredibly grateful to Princess Anne. She made her the Princess Royal, which was a gift that it doesn't automatically confer on any of her daughters. And it was in recognition of Princess Anne's incredible hard work. She, for many years, has been the hardest working royal, the entire family, doing actually more ceremonies and visits and engagements than any other royal, more than 365, so several in a day.
And of course, King Charles is already the king, so he has to take on those royal duties of being the king. Before we let you go, Amanda, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, because apparently, questions about the royals are amongst the top 10 trending topics on Google. And one of them caught my eye. What is the era of King Charles III called?
Yeah, that's a good one, because it's not intuitive. It's the Carolinian era.
What's that mean?
Well, so it's after his name, Carolinian.
But his name is Charles.
Yes, but it's not called the Charlesinian. It's called the Carolinian. So the Elizabethan is easy, Elizabeth Elizabethan. Yes. The Charles is Carolinian. When it was the Henrys, and we had 8 of them, King Henry VIII being the last one who chopped off the, heads of 2 of his wives, it was the Henrician. How about that? Yeah. Sometimes people would call it as a Henrician, but it's also known as the Henrician. So, these are the things that really annoy people about the British, like when they say, Worcester instead of Worcestershire, and, Gloucester, no, it's Gloucester.
Anne-Marie, may I ask one question?
Yes.
Just before we say goodbye? I just want to know, Amanda, personally, I know you're an observer and you're here to give us the expert analysis, but you as a human being, what does the death of the Queen mean to you?
As a human being, it reminds me that the human condition is in a state of sorrow, but it's not in a state of despair. And the reason is because we know that we are part of a continuum, that you are born, you live, and you die. And that stability, that tradition, that sense of being something greater than ourselves is what the Queen embodied as being part of a 1,000-year-old institution. And the values that she embodied were greater than any single person. And I felt that, I admired that, and I did cry when she died.
Wow, Amanda, that was really well put.
Thank you.
We will be right back.
In a original CBS Reports documentary.
This place is at the very tip of the spear when it comes to Satanism and witchcraft and demonism.
Has the church been this divided?
Not in my lifetime. They've been radicalized in their approach to politics.
United in Christ, divided by politics.
We have what I call a cowardly pastor problem because they don't want to get involved in the political situation.
Conservative Christianity and Republicanism have grasped hands in a way that's very unhealthy.
There are churches whose members have divided over partisan politics.
How an evangelical civil war could change the spirit of America.
This was a heavily Christian-influenced attack.
When we have the ability to say that God is on our side, it allows us to justify all kinds of cruelty.
An original CBS Reports documentary, streaming now.
I'm Nora O'Donnell in our nation's capital. We're here at the White House with the President of the United States.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We've never done an interview like this before.
That's correct.
Tonight, a congressional investigation sparked by reporting from CBS News. What's your message to consumers? They need help now. Tell him I feel it.
The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell from Washington, D.C. on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
We will witness yet another moment in history.
Want to go someplace new? Yeah, you do.
See something new.
Learn something new.
Meet someone new. Nate B in the house.
There's always something new under the sun.
CBS Mornings, weekdays.
When weather is about to get extreme.
We're talking about hail, we're talking about tornadoes, damaging wind.
Every second counts.
Let's now take a look at what that really means to you.
That's why CBS News and the Weather Channel have come together to bring you virtual weather technology so advanced, so real.
We can show you what it's going to look like when the storms come through.
You'll see what will happen, where it will happen, before it does. Feel the forecast on CBS News. Time to get prepared. People from every corner of America facing challenges.
Everyone is just looking for some type of connection.
Just raise your hand and say, hey, I'd like to help.
Coming together to find solutions.
We are going to do something about it.
Their stories are our stories.
Welcome to Eye on America.
Stream now on the free CBS News app.
CBS News Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley on CBS.
We have an inspiring story that started with a strange act of kindness.
Yeah. We found it.
You're kidding me!
We got it.
We share stories that lift you up and brighten your day.
The Uplift. Stream on the free CBS News app.
Stories that inform, inspire, and brighten your day.
I've been waiting patiently for something like this.
Make every day a little more like Sunday morning.
Here comes the sun.
Stream on the free CBS News app Tuesday mornings.
Well, it's primary day in New Hampshire, Delaware, and Rhode Island. Today's elections actually mark the final round of key races before the November midterms. We'll start in New Hampshire. Republicans are looking to oust Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan. Meanwhile, in Delaware, all eyes are on the state's auditor race. Incumbent Kathy McGinnis is trying to keep her seat despite being convicted over various charges related to misconduct and conflict of interest. She denies any wrongdoing. We're also tracking a key race in Rhode Island. The GOP is hoping to flip Congressman Jim Langevin's seat. He's retiring after 11 terms.